Hello, everybody. So here is Linda Lear again, and I'm here to talk to you about how to find your type. I want to apologize for the long pause between the last video and this one, but as you know, sometimes I take some time off and I need to go after my things. So, since I keep receiving questions via email or on my page via message, or sometimes even in the comment section, about how to find your type. Well, personally, as far as my experience goes in finding personal type, it's not as easy as it may sound. You may start having the right type, you may start having the wrong type. You may start not having a clue where the fuck to start. And this is very common that we don't know which one to pick. First of all, if you are asking the question, what type am I? You are a step ahead already. And that means that you are not trusting a stupid test to which questions you are probably not answering honestly. And that's not because you're a liar, but that's because well, that's human. It sounds bad, but you don't know who you are. It sounds bad, but it's actually the truth. That's how human beings work and what human beings are. We are a product of the society around us. We are a result of the many labels that society puts on us, and we believe being something that we're actually not. So the first thing that I would suggest, since you are a step ahead and you're asking yourself, what type am I? Which is basically the most important question in a human being's life. Who am I? The first advice that I want to give you is start taking a distance from the labels that come from outside. And this is one of the things that you will hear from Buddhist gurus, religion in general. Any religious guru you will approach will talk to you in one way or another about getting rid of the labels that society places on you. But what does it actively mean concretely and in practice? One example that I can make you is the INTJ person, the INTJ profile person that lives in a beta or alpha, even worse, alpha environment, which means that this person grows up in an extroverted feeling environment. This person is probably going to grow up being told that they are cold, lacking feelings, and void of feelings, and a robot. That's something that beta and alpha environments could deliver as a label to the INTJ or to an INTJ, ISTJ, or ENTJ, anyway, all the FI types. I have experience, for example, of an ISFP an ISFP woman that used to have her mother is well, she's alive, yeah, still. So her mother is an alpha type. I think she's an ESFJ. But as far as we understood, there's this conflict of quadras. So we have an ISFP with an SFJ mother. And this SFJ mother always told her daughter that she was incomprehensible and impossible to understand, that she was a difficult person, and that she was impossible to deal with. We're talking about a phi dominant type. They're basically the most approachable individuals that you can ever encounter in your life. Feeler types in general tend to be very approachable. But this woman is really sweet woman, a very sweet woman, and she has nothing particularly weird or anything. But she grew up with this belief that she was impossible to deal with, and that she was a horrible person, basically. So this is one kind of label that we can get attached. If you think of an INTJ getting told that they're cold when they actually need to feel that they can love, that can be pretty devastating. So the labels that we receive from the external environment can give us the impression of being one thing or the other in the wrong direction. Um, this example specifically of the ISFP, for example, gave this woman the idea of actually being a thinker type, of being a person of head, when she actually is a person of heart. So she's a person of heart and impulse, and she believed she was a person of reason and intellect. So if she had been looking for her profile before starting her path of personal growth, she probably would have chosen either ENTJ or ESTJ, or anyway, some thinker type that she could relate with. Probably even ENTP or something like that. So this can happen, and these labels we get from every side. So the first advice that I can give you to come to a right conclusion about your type is to start getting rid of this label. So start questioning, sorry, start questioning what people tell you about you. Start figuring out yourself, who you are. Now, this specific thing is not going to be easy without a little bit of meditation. And when I say meditation, I mean sitting there under a tree, under a rock, I don't care, just in a calm environment, calm place. You sit there, you close your eyes, you focus on your breath, and whenever a thought crosses your mind, you do not fight it. You just let it cross your mind, you allow it to exist. And once you've allowed it to exist, you try gently, very gently, to go back to focusing on your breath. Now, some of you could have issues focusing on breath. That's something that I've heard a lot, that meditation on breath is one of the most difficult ones. You can do fractioned relaxation, meaning focus on relaxing parts of the body. That is normally something that all types can easily achieve. So focus on your feet relaxing, and then your legs, and then your belly, and then your shoulders, and you go up that way up until the head. While you're doing that, again, you will experience these thoughts, these intrusive thoughts that are actually just thoughts and do not need to be labeled intrusive. Like, for example, you are focusing on your foot, and now my left foot is relaxing, and I'm here, and I'm relaxed, and I'm relaxing my left foot. Holy fuck, I didn't pay the bills. That's normal. That's absolutely normal. So you allow that you didn't pay the bills. You let go of not having paid the bills because anyway, you're not going to do it while you're meditating. You're not going to do it while you're meditating. So you let it go and you go back to your foot very gently. And once you are free of not having paid the bills, you go back to your foot and you start again relaxing your foot. This is another form of meditation. There is one that helps you, and this is specifically, very specifically useful for TI dominant types and FI dominant types, because they tend to have their head very heavily filled with thoughts and feelings, emotions according to the type. So FI and TI dominant types, this is for you. And this is something that I used to do at the university when I was studying conference interpreting. So it's the tree meditation. So basically you stand alone in a room, because otherwise you're going to feel stupid. Alone in your room, you stand and you throw your hands in the air like this. You put your hands in the air like this, standing on your feet, and you start feeling like you close your eyes and you start feeling like your feet are growing roots in the ground, and you're throwing roots in the ground, and and once you feel your roots in the ground, simultaneously start feeling like your branches are growing, like you were becoming a tree. This exercise will help you prepare for the following exercise, which I call emptying the room, and it helps freeing the mind. So once you are rooted and grounded, because a lot of thoughts can make you feel ungrounded. So once you're rooted and grounded, and this can help also ENFPs and ENTPs, just by the way, because they're very scattered. Anyway, this exercise helps you root yourself, feeling rooted. So once you feel rooted and you have relaxed, you sit down on your bed or wherever feeling comfortable, and you close your eyes again, and you start seeing your mind as if it were an empty room. And then you start taking every thought, every feeling, anything that is in there, and you start turning it into furniture. Maybe you can have, I don't know, maybe you are an INFP and you're having these strong feelings of discomfort for something. So you turn that feeling of discomfort into a painting on a wall. Then you remember that you didn't pay the bills, so you make that thought a desk. So you start turning all of your thoughts and feelings into furniture. Once you feel that you have pretty much filled the room with all this furniture and all this stuff, you open the window. If it's not there, just break the wall, do something, open the window towards the external, and start throwing out the furniture. Everything that is in the room needs to be thrown out completely. When you will be done throwing out the last piece of furniture, even if it's just a pencil, you can rest assured that you have a freer mind. So this is something that will help you get your, basically it's a rewiring of the mind. It helps rewire the mind so that it can open to other possibilities other than those that you are used to hearing. So once you are free of these things, you will start noticing things about yourself that you hadn't noticed before. For example, you may be as I vulnerable, and while you are in meditation, you start realizing that sitting there doing nothing actually makes you uncomfortable, that some sort of huge rage and anger start mounting inside of you, and you feel like a murderous feeling. I heard that a lot from psi vulnerable types, and that can happen. So in that circumstance, don't panic, just recognize that it's you not understanding relaxation. So that's another thing that can help you there. So start noticing things about yourself with an open mind. The last piece of advice that I will give you in this video about finding your type is do not get attached to a specific type. And this is a heartfelt, deep thing that I suggest, especially to all FI types. FI types, when you guys get attached to a type, it's basically like a love for life. It's a very deep and very strong attachment. So if you allow that to happen, every time that you realize or doubt being that type, you're going to feel as if you're being robbed of your identity. And that's the worst feeling that you can ever get. So do not grow attached to your type. Type is only 4 letters code, or 3 letters if you're using Socionics 3-letter system. It's 4 letters or 3 letters that are used to define who you are. It's the type that has to adapt to you, not vice versa. And which letters it is, it doesn't matter. Do not be afraid to be mistaken because chances are you probably are. I started off believing that I was an INTP, for example. I'm not ashamed of that. I mean, it's a first start. That's how I got in touch with the theory. That's how I got where I am now. So do not get attached to your type. Also, I see also some extrovert feeling types that get attached to one type or the other and then have difficulties, especially those who have FI subconscious, like INFJs, the NJs in general. No, the FJs. Sorry, the FJs in general. They tend to grow attached, subconsciously attached to that type, and yeah, so that gets in the way because that prevents you from opening your eyes to your true identity and to whom you truly are. So these are a couple of pieces of advice to get started figuring out your type. It's a very long, very long and slow path that will lead you to a higher self-awareness. I have been working on myself for about 2 years. You haven't seen this, but I have had so many doubts about myself that you cannot even imagine. At some point, I think I believe being an ESTJ even. Just yeah, that's how it works. You trial and error. Do not be afraid of using prior trial and error. The scientific system is always the best approach. And this said from a T vulnerable person. So scientific, I mean, with the scientific principle system, what I mean is hypothesis, test, thesis. You cannot have a thesis until you have a test. Until you've tested yourself, you only have an hypothesis. And that's why you feel so bad and so vulnerable when someone questions your type. That's what makes you vulnerable. Every time someone questions your type, you have only the hypothesis of being that type. You do not have enough proof to answer the other person's claim. Plus, you're being attached another label, and you will listen to that if you're not in the phase of getting rid of this labels. Get rid of labels. I have come to the point that when I receive messages saying, I think you're an INTJ, or I think you're an ESTP or something, I find it hilarious, honestly. And I'm like, well, at least you're trying to learn and type people. That's a good thing. I'm not gonna allow them on the channel, but it's nothing personal, and I don't take it personally anymore. I mean, it's kind of funny because I'm like, okay, yay. If I had to be every time I've been labeled, it would be hilarious, like really. Anyway, yeah, this is pretty much everything I have about the matter. I hope it helped you. Do not think again to find your type overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day. That's how it works. So I hope it helped, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.